Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, I am here. Let's wait for a few more people to join in. How was the day today? Mine was a little bittersweet because the day started with a nice interview and everything, but Mr. Irfan Khan's untimely demise has definitely left all of us shaken. Uh, So yeah, may his soul rest in peace. Hi Harshita. Hello Mr. Trendy. Speaking is also live. Hi Speaking. All right. So we have enough numbers now. So getting down to what we promised to come up with, parenting. Before parenting, I would definitely want to talk about what I promised. My pregnancy, my baby, Vidhan, who Vidhan was I am a single mother, as everybody knows, a single mother by choice because I decided to have Vidhan out of wedlock, out of any contemporary thing that we are all aware of. I went ahead with an IUI. It was a general visit to the doctor. Just went for a body checkup and I figured out that I have PCOD, and the doctor asked me to go for a 6 months treatment, which definitely did not go down well with me. So she suggested, okay, the only other option to get rid of PCOD is getting pregnant. And I was like, oops, how does one get pregnant without a man? So she's like, it's okay, you can. Science has gone far and you can. I just laughed it out. I went and spoke with my mom. And my mom, who had given all hopes on me, really thought this was her only chance of becoming the Naniji that she always wanted to be. So that is how she pushed me into this. And here I am, a single mother with a single proud mother with a 6-year-old child now. And how has the journey been? The journey has been very beautiful. I have actually not faced any social stigma as such that what people talk about. I have been lapped up by people. Vidhan has been loved by everybody. So I personally have not faced it. And the sole reason I give to the fact that when I talk about him or when I talk about the single pregnancy, I am not looking for validation. I am very, very fiercely proud of it. So no, nobody crosses the line. So that is what exactly I would like to come up to. The topic where parents, we are all parents around. What do we do when we are around kids? How do we want to portray our kids? Are they our trophies? Are we looking for something from the world to validate us that, oh, we are good parents? What is parenting? Hey, thank you, Vipul. Thank you so much. I am happy that I make you all proud. I'm actually happy. It means a lot. Um, Now, coming to parenting again, what is parenting? Parenting is nothing but just bringing the next generation up in a stronger way. That is your core job the nature has given you, to bring up the next generation. Natural job. And no, it doesn't mean that you have to showcase them or anything. No, they just have to be strong enough to survive. That is your job. Are we doing our job well? Sometimes I feel I'm not. I can talk about myself. Now you guys have to evaluate. Sometimes when Vidhan does something silly, the first thought that runs in my head is, oh, what is the world thinking? Do you all do that? And then because I am in this field, the awareness is high, so I snap out of it. Where the world will not decide what my child does. If he is really wrong socially, if he's really wrong, criminally wrong, then it's a different thing. But otherwise, the world will not decide how my child is. He will have his phases. He will get angry. He will throw tantrums. There will be different phases with different problems. Does that define me as a human being? Me as a mother? So, with that headache off my head. When I look at a situation, I look at it very constructively. I look at it very child-centrically. Not, there is nothing that I have to prove to anybody. So when I'm sitting to look at the child as to what the problem is, I will try understanding the problem rather than reprimanding him, rather than labeling him, rather than any such thing. Now, all these things have aggravated because of the lockdown. How is the lockdown treating all of you? How, how much is your parenting being pushed to a limit during the lockdown? I can say for me, I have some good days, I have some bad days. Good days are, it's okay, Arvind. It's absolutely okay. I'm going to, you're not late. I'm going to put this on a watch list also, so you can watch it later. So, okay, getting back to parenting. I have some good days, some bad days. Like today is a tantrum day for me. He doesn't want to be around. He just wants to go out with his friends. And it has been a task keeping him at home today. But then he listens. After a while, when I talk to him, when you talk to your child, when you talk to listen, when you talk to understand, not when you talk to command. The child is seeing the world through your eyes. You are the first, now remember this, you are the first authority to the child. The child will learn how to handle authorities through you. If he or she is unable to talk to you, how do you think later they will be cracking big deals? That is why this thing of, oh, I'm an elder, so you're not supposed to talk to me in a certain way. That is the core reason why we Indians, in spite of having the best brains in the world, are not leaders. We don't think of creating Google. We don't think of creating iPhone. We think of having a job there. This is the core reason that needs to change. Democracy has to be followed in the house first. A child might be wrong. A parent might be equally wrong. So when we talk to listen, we really listen and we really understand. And when a child feels understood, the tantrum automatically comes down. That is what I have time and again faced in my parenting. Every time I am snappy, he snaps back. He will not listen. And when I sit down to talk to him intelligently, treating him like equal, giving him equal respect, he hears me out. He hears me out. He tries cracking a deal with me. So either I get convinced or I convince him. There is no tug of war of power in between us. So why does the power come between parents and kids? Why do we want to show the child that I am more powerful than you? Yes, I'm elder to you. I'm elder to you. I am more experienced. So I'm going to come and share my experiences with you. So if you do this, I can foresee this is going to happen. But still, if you want to do it, consequence is yours. Like the other day, Vidhan cut his eyebrows beautifully. Yeah, he made those holes in both his eyebrows. And he was really scared. So he started screaming from inside the room. Mummy, I am not going to come out because you're going to get angry at me. I was like, what have you done? I was like, maybe he's thrown all my stuff. Maybe he's broken my perfume bottles. What has he done? Why is he behaving like this? So he was like, my tomorrow's day is going to be really bad because you're going to take something away from me. And I was like, what have you done? I will not say anything. Come, you have to talk to me. So he came out. He came out with those holes in his eyebrows. Both his eyebrows he had cut happily. And now I did not say anything to him. I just hugged him. I was like, it's okay. It's absolutely okay. But next day he had his Q math class. He had to go online. With those holes in his eyebrows, he started crying. He said, I'm not going to the class. I said, what happened? What will the teacher think? What have I done? I am really ashamed of what I've done. And he was actually ashamed going online. So what I did, I picked up my eyebrow pencil and I made his eyebrows and I happily made him sit there. So he realized that there was a consequence behind this. So later in the evening when I was speaking with my mom, she was like, you didn't hit him. You didn't say anything. You don't say anything to him. You're spoiling him. I said, no, he has learned his lesson without me saying anything. He's embarrassed. Whose life is it? By the end of the day, it's his life. He's embarrassed. He's crying. He's not going in front of people. He's already embarrassed. He will not do it again. I don't have to reinforce it. Yes, what I reinforced was this could have been more dangerous because it was a scissor near his eyes. He could have done something horrible to his eyes. So my fear was there, and which I explained him. There was no need for me to be really harsh on him. So sometimes we as parents become so, we start labeling the kids. Oh, you've done this, so he's become very naughty. Oh, he's talking like this, so he's become a brat. Oh, he's doing this, so he's this. Oh, he's this, so he's this. Once my child, I gave him 500 rupees. I said, go down into the building. It was 2 months back when lockdown was not there. So go down. There's a shop in the building itself. I said, I want these things. Just get these things. It will cost you around 60 rupees. Rest you have to bring back 440. He's 6 years old. So my mom was like, no, you can't do that to a child. He will not come back ever. I said, I know he will. Wait now, let's see what maximum will he do. So he took the money. He went there. He not just bought my stuff. He also bought chips and chocolates for all the kids who were playing down. And he happily finished the 500 rupees. And for 2 hours, he was not back. So for 2 hours when he was not back, my mom, she went into a panic attack. And she went down to search for him. And he was having a nice small gala party with his friends. And she came to know that he has happily given all the chips and chocolates and all to everybody. Oh, there was a big ruckus. There was a big ruckus. He got scolding Niche there only in front of everybody. And he came up crying with his grandmother. And there was, of course, I got the galis of my life. That you are only spoiling him. Who gives bacha the money like this and all of that? So then my first thought was, when I had explained him that he's supposed to spend only 60 rupees, 440 was to come back. What was the need for him to spend the money on his friends? Is there some self-esteem issue where he thinks he can buy off his friends? What is the reason? I did not see it as as a crime. I saw it as a need. What was the need? And that is what you guys have to do. Every time a child does something, there is definitely a psychological need behind. So once we start targeting the need, the action doesn't look criminal. So I took him into the room. We started talking. I asked him, why did you do that? Do you think you can win friends like that? He said, yes. So that was a chance for me to explain him about, 1 second. Hi, Gaurav. I'm going to get back to you in 2 minutes. All right. So that was a chance for me to explain him that money doesn't buy friends, firstly. Secondly, if you have done something which you think is wrong, it is okay to say sorry. So just go out and say sorry to Naniji. So he quietly went out, got his ears and was sorry. My mother obviously melted after that, so it was okay. Next day again I gave him 500 rupees. Again I got galis. But I was very sure this time he will not repeat the mistake. And he did not. That is the day, and today is the day he has never made that mistake again. So you have to trust your child. All you need to do is trust your child. If you give him or her that trust, they might break it in bachpana once, but not all the time. Once they realize they're about to break your trust, they will stop. Problem with us is we are so engulfed with fear that we stop trusting them. We put the burden of our emotions on their heads. They are not our trophies. They are individuals. They are beautiful souls wanting to explore. That's about it. And every child is very different. Every child's way of expression is very different. So I'm going to come back to what Gaurav said. I'm a single parent, still my daughter is comfortable when she is with me. But when she is with her mother, she behaves differently. All right, Gaurav, this is, I still would want to understand how differently she behaves. I will again give one example of Vidhan. Vidhan, when he is in school, he is his teacher's pet. Nobody can ever say he's a naughty child. Okay, she is like, he's every teacher, not just this present one. Every teacher, he's a teacher's pet. So he's the best child around, well behaved, uh, obedient, nothing wrong. So when I go and tell the teacher he's naughty, she gives me those dirtiest of all the looks. How can you say your child is naughty? He's the best child. I say, yeah, please come home and see. And he's an absolute opposite at home. He's a brat. So I one day asked him, I say, what is your problem? You're so nice outside. Why can't you be nice for a change at home? So he's like, look, mummy, in that little Totla Bhasha of his, mummy, I don't like when others scold me. When my teacher scolds me, I don't like. So I'm nice there. When you like, मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता. When you scold me, मुझे फर्क ही नहीं पड़ता. So, and I'm comfortable here. I can be myself. So now, coming back to you, when a child is behaving differently with one parent and differently with the other, the child is more comfortable with one and is pretending in front of the other. So I hope this will give you an answer why children behave differently in different environments. So this is a chance for you to introspect. If the child is behaving differently in a positive or a negative way, you can only, I cannot judge by that one statement that she behaves differently with your wife around. So how is she different there and why is she different there? And what is happening, what might be happening with her there? We don't know. I cannot jump onto conclusions like that. So Uma, thank you. Yogini Neha, hey Priya, you look awesome. Thank you. It's okay. I will be hosting a watch party of the same video. Thank you everybody. Thank you. Apart from this, now if you can, I'm going to come up next week again with a different topic on parenting. Today we are talking about giving respect to the kids. Small things, what we do. Imagine if a child is watching a television program. Okay, what do? We just take the remote. When we want them to shut it off, we just take the remote and switch it off. Now imagine if you're watching something and somebody does that to you. Will you be okay about it? So when you're not okay about it, how do we expect a child to be okay about it? Just because he's a child and we can bully them. So that's bullying. So what I normally do is, I tell him, okay, you're watching a program, I'm not going to shut it off. After this program gets over, you better shut it off yourself. Before there is 1, 2, 3. My 1, 2, 3 is my 1, 2, and the last one is 3. I have never, and he knows when I say I'm going to punish, my punishments are not physical punishments. I take away something for the next number of days. And whatever is his best, his ideal. So nowadays I've started taking away his mobile. So he has 1 hour screen time. So I tell him, okay, for 1 week, no mobile if you don't listen to me. So if you don't switch it off after this, if I see you watching another show, I will take away the mobile for 1 week. And he knows I will do it. He knows Mama ne bol diya, so she will do it. And so there's no need to scream, shout. It's not that I don't scream at him. But screaming is, that's like Punjabi ghar, no? So that screaming is different. But he knows, and he doesn't matter to him. But when we're talking about repercussions, when we're talking about things that parents do that can curb the psychology of the child, please be a little careful because you are overstepping. You're overstepping. You're not giving respect to the child. And they deserve all the respect. Till the time they will not get respect from you, they will not know how to attract respect outside. Then they become, see, bullies, for example, I'm going to take bullying next week. That is one common problem that most parents face, that kids get bullied. Uh, First of all, we start at home. Parents are bullying the kids, and that is what they have learned. Good kids do not answer back. Good kids follow. And that is what they do outside. Good kids follow. So they start following. And then we are blaming the rest of the world. So we are not supposed to blame the world. We're supposed to rectify what we can within the child. But the child becomes a fighter, not like a fighter, but a fighter where he is street smart. And that is the need of the hour. The industrial era is over. Artificial intelligence is taking up. IQ may not be needed going ahead. EQ is the need of the hour. And where do we start giving the child those trainings? At home. We have to stop making them followers and teach them how to be the leaders of the shining tomorrow. So they have to shine out in the world. And they cannot shine out till the time you don't teach them the right skills of communication. And that happens only when you communicate well with them. Don't order. Understand. Talk to understand. Don't say, मैंने बोल दिया तो बस करना होगा. That statement in itself is not right. मैंने बोला इसीलिए बोला. I have said something to you because if you don't do this, this might happen. So I am worried about you and you know I love you. So please listen to me. They will buy it. So try not bullying them. Try not making them your trophies. Try not showing them off to the world. I don't do all of that. When he wants to do. We do it when he wants to do. Mama, I want to make a video. Okay. Mama, I want to do this. Okay. Mama, I don't want to do this. Okay. Absolutely okay. I know where he's bad. He's very good with maths and everything, but he's horrible in his drawings and all of that. I mean, I give him a piece of paper. I don't know what he does to it. So he's bad in that. So it's okay. I'm not struggling there. I don't want him to become a Picasso tomorrow. It's okay. If he likes it, he'll pick it up. So what is a push? Why do we push a kid so much? There is no competition. He is his own competition. And he's excellent in whatever he's doing. And if he's not, that's also okay. He should do what he likes. And I am not competing with anybody. The best of artists around of his age. What beautiful paintings these little ones make. And my child, he can't even contain the colors in a circle. So he's that bad. But it's okay. But it's not okay for my mother. He can't do this. I say he can do maths so beautifully well. He's excellent with his logics and science, which I have not seen any other 6-year-old do. So I'm happy. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? नहीं कर पा रहा तो that's not in him. So accept the child the way he or she is, right? We'll try. I give him a piece of paper to color every day, but then I don't scold him for that. It's okay. So at least that is my kind of parenting, and I think he's turning out to be pretty okay so far. So far, so good. And as far as the teenagers are concerned, when I speak with them, because I counsel a lot of teenagers, they have the same issue. Parents don't listen. Parents want them to listen. Now with teenagers, what happens? They are adults. The hormones have taken over. They think they are adults. They are no more kids. Kids of 6 years don't listen to us. You're talking about a teenager. They are adults. We have to start respecting them like adults. We cannot tell them. We cannot command them. We cannot push them. And we should not push them. They have a brain of their own. Yes. What I can do as a parent, be a friend and show them that, okay, you're going in this direction. This can be the consequence. The rest, it is your life. So basically, you have to now start practicing detachment with attachment. You have to start telling yourself it is a child's life. I can only guide. Whether the child will do that or no, you leave it on to the child. No. Until and unless you see red flags like addictions, then definitely you have to push the child towards therapies. That's a different issue altogether. I'm talking about normal teenagers without addictions. Why are we? That is the core reason why fights happen. The teenagers that turn around and say, "You don't understand me." You don't understand them because you want them to go a certain way. The world has changed. The world has gone in a certain different way. There's peer pressure they're handling in college and schools. There's so many things they're handling. How much do we actually sit down and talk to them to ask them what are they going through? And even if we talk to them, we are sitting to judge them. They feel judged by their own parents, which is a sad thing, which should not happen. So are you judging your teenager? And it will show in his or her behavior. When they stop talking to you, they will stop talking to you. And then again, the child is to be blamed. So basically, we keep blaming the children. But at the same time, as parents, if you have done that, please don't feel bad because our parents used to be like that. That is how we have seen parenting as. So there's nothing right or wrong. Every time you get a piece of awareness, start applying it. You have been a fabulous parents. By the end of the day, I tell all the kids this. By the end of the day, do you think your parents love you? And it's a unanimous, they just have one answer, yes. Can anybody else love you more than your parents? Their answer is no. So that is also a good part because the kids, no matter how angry they are with you, they know nobody can love them more than you. So you guys are doing a fabulous parenting job. But these little tweaks here and there will help you understand your child better. And with more understanding, you can guide the child better. Because teenage specifically is a very, very, it's a formative stage of, the child can go in a wrong direction in that stage. So they need the parents more than the peers at that stage. And we have seen, as counselors, we have seen horrible cases of teenage going wrong. And at the same time, we have seen brats doing superbly well in life. So it totally depends on the child also. I mean, I have personally seen brats doing better. I'm one of the biggest examples. I was a brat. My friends can easily, few of them are already online, they can easily vouch for that. But obviously everything has a consequence. So, but that was my life. I faced my consequence. Okay, I tell my mother also this. If I did something silly, I have faced the consequence and I've come out of it. That was my learning. And that is how you have to be with your kids. If they face a consequence, say supposingly they fall in love with the wrong person, for example, they fall in love with the wrong person. What happens? You'll crib. Oh, she's not right for you. He's not right for you. Will they listen to you? No, they will not listen. Nobody listens in love. So you are unnecessarily doing pak. What will happen? They'll stop telling you about the affair. Then what happens? Then you'll feel, oh, my child is not telling me anything. Oh, I have no value only in his life. He's going to send me into the old age home. You'll go to where, what all thoughts will go. But the fact is, he's not feeling understood. He's in love. He will not listen to you. She might be good, bad, ugly, whatever. One fine day when they break up, he'll come and tell you, Mama, you were right, or Papa, you were right. Then what do? I told you before. He just needs a hug. He doesn't need another lecture. That is where we all go wrong. They don't need lectures. Life will teach them. Let them make mistakes. Now, it's okay to make mistakes. Why is it so? Have you all not made mistakes? We've all made mistakes. And we've learned more because of the mistakes, not because of the lectures we got. We are today all experienced because of the mistakes we have made. So why are we protecting our kids so much that we're not giving them a chance to make a mistake? Let them make mistakes. Let them learn from it. What worst will happen? Nothing will happen. Trust your child. The more you will trust, it will be more difficult for your child to break your trust. The minute the child knows that you don't trust him or her, then pakka they'll break it. So think about that. Have a thoughtful evening ahead. And I'm going to come with Fight the Bully Right next week. Thank you for being a fabulous audience. Bye-bye.